My name is Anna. I am 28 years old. And this is the hardest story of my life. I never thought I would say these words out loud. But I need to. Because maybe someone out there is walking in the same darkness I once walked. I grew up in a small town. My parents worked hard every day. My father fixed cars. My mother cleaned houses. We did not have much money, but we had love. And I always had a dream. A big dream. I wanted to go to the city. I wanted to wear nice clothes, sit in a tall office, and work in a company where people respected me. And somehow, I did it. I moved to the city at 22. I started as a simple assistant. I typed letters, made coffee, carried files. Nobody noticed me, but I worked hard. Every day. I believed that if I worked hard, people would see me. I believed that if I gave my best, life would reward me. And then, one day, he noticed me. His name was Mr. Harris. He was the boss of my department. A tall man, always in a dark suit, with eyes that looked like he could read your soul. People feared him. People respected him. He called me to his office one morning. "Anna," he said, "I see your work. You are smart. You are careful. You deserve more." My heart beat so fast. Nobody had ever said that to me. He smiled. "I want to give you a promotion." A promotion. The word sounded like music. It meant more money, more respect, a chance to finally prove myself. I said, "Thank you, sir. I will work harder. I promise." He leaned closer. His voice grew softer. "But Anna, I want something from you too." I froze. "What do you mean?" I asked. His smile changed. It was no longer kind. It was something else. Something darker. "You know what I mean," he whispered. His eyes moved over me in a way that made my skin burn. I felt sick. I felt small. I wanted to run, but I could not move. This was my boss. My future. My dream. If I said no, I could lose everything. If I said yes, I could lose myself. That night, I lay awake in my tiny apartment. The city lights shone through my window. Cars passed by, their sounds mixing with my racing thoughts. I remembered my mother's words when I left home. "Work hard. Stay honest. Never sell your soul, Anna." Tears filled my eyes. I whispered to myself, what should I do? Because now, my life was about to change forever. I could not sleep that night. The words of Mr. Harris played again and again in my head. "Anna, I want something from you too." His face, his eyes, his voice. It all felt heavy on my chest. But before I tell you what happened next, I need to tell you who I am, and why that promotion meant so much to me. I grew up in a house that was always noisy. My father's hands were always black with engine oil. He smelled of gasoline and hard work. My mother's hands were always red from cleaning chemicals. She worked in other people's houses, scrubbing their floors, washing their clothes, cleaning their windows. We did not have much, but my parents gave me love. Every night my mother told me, "Anna, you are smart. You must study. You must go far. Don't end up like us." I believed her. I studied every night under a small lamp. The room was small, but my dreams were big. When I got a scholarship to the city college, my mother cried. She hugged me so tight and said, "This is your chance. Don't waste it." The city was loud, fast, and scary. But I loved it. Tall buildings touched the sky. People walked with speed, like they all had somewhere important to go. I felt small, but also alive. I worked part-time jobs. I cleaned tables at night, typed documents for students, and sometimes sold sandwiches at a cafe. It was hard, but I was free. After college, I was lucky to get a job as an office assistant in a big company. The pay was small, but the building was tall, and that was enough for me. I wore second-hand office clothes, always cleaned and ironed. I wanted to look like I belonged. At first, nobody noticed me. People walked past me as if I was invisible. But I worked harder. I came early, stayed late, and made sure no mistake left my desk. That was when I started to hope. Maybe one day, someone would see me. Someone would give me a chance. And then, he saw me. Mr. Harris. He was powerful. His office was on the top floor, with glass walls and a view of the whole city. He had the kind of confidence that made others silent when he entered a room. The first time he spoke to me, I almost dropped the papers in my hands. "Good job, Anna," he said one afternoon, after I finished a report. My heart jumped. He had noticed me. From that day, he smiled at me more often. Sometimes he asked me questions about my work. Sometimes he complimented me. I thought he was kind. I thought he was different. I was wrong. But let me tell you about someone else too. Her name is Maria, my best friend in the office. Maria was older, maybe 40, with 2 kids. She laughed a lot, told funny stories, and always brought extra food to share. She was like a sister to me. One lunch break, before everything changed, I told her, "Maria, sometimes I feel invisible here." She smiled. "Don't worry, Anna. Just keep working. One day, they will see you." I wanted to believe her. And I did, until that night when Mr. Harris asked for my body in exchange for a promotion. The next morning, Maria saw my face. "Anna, what happened? You look pale." I tried to smile. "I'm fine." She touched my hand. "No, you're not. Tell me." I wanted to tell her. I wanted to scream. He asked me for something terrible. But I was afraid. What if she didn't believe me? What if she told someone, and it reached him? He was powerful. I was just a small worker. So I stayed silent. That week, Mr. Harris called me to his office again. I walked in, holding my notebook tight, like it could protect me. He looked at me with a smile that felt heavy. "Anna, have you thought about what I said?" My mouth was dry. I whispered, "Sir, I only want to work. I only want to grow with my job." His smile disappeared. His eyes turned cold. "Anna," he said slowly, "I can make you, or I can break you. Remember that." His words cut like a knife. I walked out of that office with shaking hands. The sound of my heels on the floor was too loud, like everyone could hear my fear. That night, I called my mother. She answered with her soft voice, "Hello, my daughter." I tried to sound normal. "Hi, Mama. How are you?" She laughed. "Tired, but fine. And you?" I wanted to tell her everything, but I could not. She had too many problems already. I didn't want to worry her, so I lied. "I'm good, Mama. I got noticed at work. Maybe soon, I will get a promotion." She gasped with joy. "Oh, Anna. See? I told you. Hard work pays off. I am so proud of you." Her words hurt me, because she didn't know the truth. I lay in bed that night, staring at the ceiling. The city was alive outside, but inside me, everything was silent. I thought about my father fixing cars, my mother cleaning floors. I thought about the little girl I once was, dreaming of a better life. And I thought about Mr. Harris's cold voice. "I can make you, or I can break you." Tears rolled down my face. I whispered into the darkness, "What am I supposed to do?" Because I knew something worse was coming. The days after that meeting were the hardest of my life. I could not focus on my work. My hands shook when I typed. My stomach hurt every morning when I walked into the office. Every time I heard his voice down the hall, my heart jumped. Every time the phone rang, I feared it was him. And then it was. One afternoon, his secretary called. "Mr. Harris wants to see you." I felt cold. My legs were weak. But I had no choice. I walked to his office, step by step, like a prisoner. When I entered, he smiled. "Close the door, Anna." I closed it slowly. The sound of the lock clicking made me feel trapped. He leaned back in his chair. "You are a smart girl. You know what I want. Why fight it? I can give you everything." My voice was small. "Sir, I only want to work." He laughed. A cold laugh. "Work? Work is not enough here. Loyalty matters. And loyalty means giving me what I ask for." I shook my head. "Please, sir, don't ask me that." He stood up and walked closer. I could smell his cologne, strong and sharp. He whispered, "Say yes, Anna, or watch your future disappear." I felt tears in my eyes. My hands were shaking. "I can't," I said. He leaned down, close to my ear. "You will. Or you'll regret it." I rushed out of his office. My chest hurt. My head was heavy. I went to the bathroom and cried silently, afraid someone would hear. That evening, Maria saw me again. "Anna, you've been crying. Tell me the truth." I looked at her with wet eyes. My lips trembled. "Maria, he wants something from me. Not work. Something else." Her face grew serious. "Mr. Harris?" I nodded. She shook her head. "Oh, Anna, you are not the first. He has done this before." My heart dropped. "What?" She whispered. "Two girls left last year. Nobody talks about it. But I heard the stories. He ruined their names. He made them leave the company." I covered my mouth. My world spun. So this was not just me. He had done this before. And he would do it again. Maria held my hand. "You must be careful. Don't be alone with him." "But how?" "He was my boss. He had the power." The next morning, I found a letter on my desk. It was from him. It said, "Dinner. Tonight. 8 p.m. Say yes." My hands shook as I read it. He wanted me outside the office now. In a hotel? In a restaurant? I didn't even want to think. I tore the paper into pieces and threw it away. But later that day, he walked past my desk. He leaned close and whispered, "See you tonight." I froze. I didn't go. I stayed in my apartment, sitting on the floor, hugging my knees, listening to the clock tick. But the next day at work, his smile was gone. His eyes were full of anger. He called me into his office. "You didn't come." "I'm sorry, sir," I said softly. He slammed his hand on the desk. "You think you can say no to me? You think you can embarrass me?" I jumped at the sound. My lips shook. I just want to do my job." He leaned forward. His voice was like ice. "Then do as I say, or you will be nothing here." From that day, everything changed. He stopped saying my name in meetings. He gave my work to others. He ignored my reports. Sometimes, he even insulted me in front of the team. "Anna, this is sloppy. Anna, you're too slow. Anna, maybe this job is too much for you." People looked at me with pity. Some whispered behind my back. I felt small. I felt dirty. Maria tried to comfort me. Don't give up, Anna. You're strong. But I was breaking. At home, I couldn't eat. I couldn't sleep. I thought about my mother's voice on the phone. I am proud of you. If she knew the truth, her heart would break. One night, I stood by my window and whispered, "Why me? Why is this happening to me?" The city lights shone like stars. But inside me, there was only darkness. Weeks passed. He kept pressuring me. More notes. More whispers. More threats. One day, he stopped me in the hallway. His hand brushed against mine on purpose. "Anna," he said softly, "your silence cannot save you. You know what I want." I pulled my hand back. "Please stop." He smirked. "Or what? You'll tell someone? Nobody will believe you." And in that moment, I knew he was right. He was powerful, respected. I was just a young woman trying to survive. If I spoke, people might laugh. Or worse, they might say I wanted it. I felt trapped in a cage I could not escape. That night, I called Maria. My voice shook. "I can't take it anymore. He's destroying me." She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Anna, maybe it's time. Maybe you should speak up." "But who will believe me?" I whispered. Maria sighed. "I will. And maybe others will too. But you must be brave." Her words echoed in my heart. Brave. But bravery could cost me everything. I went to bed with tears on my pillow. Because I knew the storm was coming. The storm came on a Friday. The office was quiet. Many workers had already gone home early. But I was still there, finishing reports at my desk. Then my phone rang. It was his secretary. "Mr. Harris wants to see you. Now." I felt my stomach twist. I wanted to say no. I wanted to run. But my legs carried me to his office. When I walked in, he was alone. The city lights glowed behind him through the glass wall. He stood there, tall, powerful, smiling in a way that made my skin crawl. "Anna," he said softly, "I am tired of waiting." I froze. "Sir, please." He closed the door. The sound echoed in my chest. "No more excuses. Tonight, you stay. With me." My breath caught. My heart beat like a drum. "I can't," I whispered. His smile vanished. "You think you can keep saying no? You think you can make a fool out of me?" He walked toward me. His footsteps felt heavy, like thunder in the room. I stepped back, but he kept coming closer. "Anna," he said, his voice low and sharp, "I gave you a chance. I offered you more. And this is how you thank me." I shook my head. "I never asked for this." He grabbed my arm. His fingers dug into my skin. "You belong to me if you want to stay here." I gasped. "No. Let go." I pulled back with all my strength. The chair behind me fell to the floor with a loud crash. The sound shocked both of us. For a second, silence. Then his face turned red with rage. "You will regret this," he shouted. The door opened. It was Maria. She had heard the crash. Her eyes widened when she saw his hand on me. "Mr. Harris, what are you doing?" He let go quickly and stepped back. His voice turned smooth again. "Maria, this is nothing. Anna misunderstood. She's emotional." But Maria looked at me. Her eyes asked the question, "Do I tell the truth?" My lips trembled. My whole body shook. "Yes," I whispered. My voice cracked. "He touched me. He threatened me." Maria gasped. "Oh my God." Mr. Harris laughed, but it was cold. "You think anyone will believe her, Maria? She's just a silly girl. Ambitious. She wanted a promotion. Now she cries because she failed. His words cut like knives. But Maria stood firm. I believe her. And I will not stay silent. For the first time, he looked unsure. His eyes narrowed. You will regret this too, Maria. She grabbed my hand. Come, Anna. We're leaving. We walked out together. My knees were weak, but her hand was strong. That night, Maria sat with me in my small apartment. I cried and told her everything, every note, every whisper, every threat. She listened, holding my hand. Then she said, Anna, it's time. We must report him. I shook my head. No, he's powerful. Nobody will believe me. She looked straight into my eyes. Anna, listen to me. If you stay quiet, he wins. If you speak, maybe you fall, but maybe you rise. You have to decide. Her words burned inside me. Speak, or stay silent forever. On Monday, I walked into the HR office with Maria by my side. My hands shook as I gave them the notes I had saved. The little scraps of paper he had written. I told them every detail. The woman in HR listened. She frowned. She asked questions. When I finished, my cheeks were wet with tears. Thank you for your courage, she said softly. We will investigate. But in my heart, fear screamed louder than hope. That week was the longest of my life. People whispered. Some looked at me with sympathy. Some avoided me. Mr. Harris walked through the office like nothing had happened. His smile was sharp, his eyes full of hate when they met mine. One afternoon, he passed my desk and leaned close enough for only me to hear. You think you've won? Watch. You will fall harder than you ever imagined. My stomach turned. My chest ached. Was I making a mistake? Days later, the company called a meeting. Everyone gathered in the large conference room. The air was heavy, full of whispers. Mr. Harris sat at the front, calm and confident. Then the HR director entered. Her voice was clear. We have received serious complaints of misconduct. The room fell silent. My hands were cold. My heart pounded. She continued, we investigated. And we found evidence. Mr. Harris has acted in ways that break our code and break the law. Gasps filled the room. Mr. Harris's face turned dark. This is ridiculous, he snapped. Lies. All lies. But the HR director lifted the notes I had given. These are his words. This is proof. Everyone stared. And for the first time, he looked small. I felt tears in my eyes. Relief and fear mixed together. He shouted, You will regret this, Anna. Security guards came and asked him to leave. He walked out, his face red with rage. The office was silent. Everyone looked at me. I wanted to disappear. But Maria squeezed my hand. You did it, she whispered. That night, I sat by my window again. The city lights shone bright. Cars rushed below. But inside me, something had shifted. I was still afraid. But I was also free. For the first time in weeks, I whispered to myself, I survived. The day after Mr. Harris was removed, the office felt different. The air was lighter, but the silence was heavy. People avoided my eyes. Some whispered. Some looked at me with doubt. I sat at my desk, my hands tight on the keyboard. Was I safe now? Or had I just painted a target on my back? Maria walked by and placed a cup of coffee on my desk. You need this, she said with a smile. Her kindness warmed me, but the fear was still there. What if people hate me now? I whispered. She leaned closer. Let them. You told the truth. That matters more. But not everyone thought the same. At lunch, I heard two women whispering. She just wanted attention. Maybe she made it up for a promotion. Their words cut deep. I wanted to scream. Do you think I wanted this? Do you think I asked for this pain? But I stayed silent. The truth was, part of me believed them. Was I strong? Or was I foolish? That weekend, I went home to visit my parents. My mother hugged me tight. You look tired, Anna. What's wrong? I sat at the kitchen table. The smell of soup filled the air. The walls of my childhood home were small, but they held so much love. I wanted to protect her, but I couldn't lie anymore. So I told her everything. Her face turned pale. Her hands shook. That man, he did this to you? Tears ran down my cheeks. Yes, Mama. I didn't know what to do. I thought I would lose everything. She grabbed my hands. Her voice broke. My daughter, you did the right thing. Don't you ever think it was your fault. My father was quiet for a long time. Then he said in a low voice, if I ever meet that man, he will regret the day he touched you. His anger scared me, but it also made me feel safe. That night, I lay in my old bed. The walls were still the same pale color. The sounds of crickets came from outside. For the first time in weeks, I slept without nightmares. Back in the city, the company moved fast. They told us Mr. Harris was gone for good. A new manager came, a woman named Mrs. Lane. She spoke kindly and worked fairly. But still, the whispers never stopped. One afternoon, a coworker said, "You're brave, Anna." But later, I heard another whisper, "She only got lucky. She wanted the spotlight." It was like walking with a shadow over me. No matter where I went, people remembered. Maria stayed by my side. One evening, we sat in a cafe near the office. The smell of coffee and warm bread filled the air. She said, "Anna, you can't let their words destroy you. You fought for yourself. That's something most people never do." I looked down at my cup. "But I'm so tired, Maria. I don't feel strong." She reached across the table and held my hand. "Then let me be strong for you." Her words brought tears to my eyes. But the fear still lived inside me. Sometimes I thought I saw him. A tall man in a suit walking past me on the street. A figure standing near my apartment. Each time, my chest tightened. My breath grew short. He was gone. But his shadow stayed. His last words echoed in my head. "You will regret this." One night, I woke up to a noise outside my window. My heart raced. I slowly pulled the curtain aside. It was just a cat, jumping onto the trash can. But I sank to the floor, shaking, holding my knees. I realized then, I wasn't free yet. Weeks turned into months. Slowly, I rebuilt myself. Mrs. Lane gave me more work. Real work. She said, "Anna, I trust you." Those words healed a part of me. I worked late one evening, and she stopped by my desk. "You know," she said gently, "I heard about what you went through. I want you to know, this company stands with you. You are not alone." Her kindness brought tears to my eyes. For the first time, I believed maybe I could stay. At home, I started writing in a notebook. Not about numbers or reports, about feelings. I wrote, "Today I was strong. Today I was afraid. Today I survived." Every page felt like a step forward. But one day, as I walked out of the building, I froze. Across the street, a man stood watching. Tall. In a suit. My breath caught. My chest pounded. Was it him? The traffic moved, horns blaring, people rushing past. When I looked again, he was gone. I stood there, trembling. Had my past come back? Or was it just my fear? That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, whispering to myself, is he really gone? Or is he still here? The night I thought I saw him across the street, I barely slept. Every sound made me jump. Every shadow looked like his figure. I kept asking myself, was it him? Or was it just my fear playing games with me? The truth is, even when the monster is gone, his voice can live inside your head. The next morning, Maria noticed the dark circles under my eyes. Anna, you didn't sleep. I nodded weakly. I thought I saw him last night. Her face softened. She touched my hand. Anna, he's gone. He cannot hurt you anymore. I know, I whispered. But it still feels like he's here. She looked at me carefully. Then she said, maybe it's time you see someone. A counselor. Someone who can help you heal inside. At first, I wanted to refuse. Where I came from, we didn't talk about therapy. We just kept working, kept moving. But deep down, I knew she was right. So I went. The first time, I sat in the small, quiet office, my hands tight in my lap. The woman across from me spoke gently. Tell me what happened. My throat closed. Tears burned my eyes. But slowly, word by word, I told her everything. And for the first time, I said it without fear. I said, he tried to take my dignity. He tried to own me. But I said no. The counselor nodded. That was brave. Do you know that? Her words broke something inside me. I cried and cried, but the tears felt different. They felt like cleaning an old wound. Weeks passed. I went to counseling every week. Each time, the weight inside me grew lighter. I started to walk home without looking behind me every second. I started to sleep without waking in fear. I started to breathe again. One evening, Maria and I sat on a park bench. The sun was setting, painting the sky orange and pink. Children played nearby, their laughter filling the air. I said quietly, you saved me, Maria. She smiled. No, Anna. You saved yourself. I just stood beside you. I shook my head. No. Without you, I would have broken. You believed me when I didn't believe in myself. Her eyes grew wet. She whispered, that's what friends are for. I leaned my head on her shoulder. For the first time in months, I felt peace. At work, things changed too. The whispers slowly stopped. People began to see me not as a victim, but as a worker again. Mrs. Lane promoted me, not because of pity, but because I earned it. One day, she called me into her office. Anna, she said, your work is excellent. You are careful, loyal, and brave. I want you to lead this new project. I felt my chest swell with pride. Finally, I was seen for my work, not my pain. But even with new success, I never forgot the dark days. They became part of me. They taught me something I will never lose. That courage is not about never being afraid. Courage is about standing even when your legs are shaking. Months later, I returned home again to visit my parents. My mother hugged me tight. You look stronger, Anna. I smiled. I feel stronger. We sat at the kitchen table, just like before. She touched my hand. You went through fire, my daughter. And you came out shining. Her words made me cry, but this time, they were tears of joy. One evening, I opened my old notebook. The one where I had written, today I was afraid. Today I survived. I turned to a new page and wrote, today I am free. And now, I want to say something to you. Yes, you, listening to my story. If you have ever been afraid, if someone has tried to take your voice, your dignity, your worth, please hear me. You are not alone. Your silence is heavy, but your truth is stronger. And sometimes all it takes is one person to believe you, one person to stand beside you, to change everything. Now I know this. Work is important. Success is important. But nothing is worth losing your soul. I once thought a promotion was everything, but I learned something greater. Respect is everything. Dignity is everything. And no one has the right to take that from you. So when I look back at that scared young woman, sitting in the dark of her tiny apartment, whispering to herself, "What should I do?" I want to hug her. I want to tell her, "You are stronger than you think. You will not break. You will rise." Now I stand taller. I smile more. I work hard, but I also protect myself. And every night, when the city lights shine outside my window, I whisper to myself, "I said no. I survived. I am free." Now I know, life is not about power or money. Life is about respect, trust, and the courage to say no when something is wrong. And maybe, just maybe, my story can give someone else the strength to say no too.